All right, what's going YouTube? Today is November 19th or 20th, 2024. Today I want to talk about how to get a job out of college. You would think it's simple, like simple math, on how to get a job out of college, but I've seen so many people, struggle with getting a job, or heard so many people struggle with getting a job out of college. So recently, I've been able to accept a job offer, and hopefully all goes right, and I was able to accept it, and hopefully just nothing happens, right? So I was able to accept that job offer, but it wasn't as simple as just applying and stuff like that. You have to do things beforehand. And I would say the most important thing is to use your resources. Like using your resources, you have to have a decent resume. Use resources like YouTube, how to, I guess, tailor your resume. How to tailor your resume could be something you look up on YouTube. You can go to the college, to have a resume review. You can probably look up your college and then put like resume review. You can have your peers review your resume. So you really have to use these resources to make yourself a better person, or a better branded professional, because the resume is going to be the first thing they see from the jump when you're first submitting an application or handing someone a paper resume. So first thing is getting that resume right. Maybe going to peers, asking for a peer review resume or whatever it is. Going to the college, I guess, advising office or whatever it's called at your school. Going up there and asking, can you review my resume? Even get people that's in the field or in your field that you want to work in. Look up on LinkedIn and get people, like, for example, if you, like me, I'm an accountant, so get another accountant on LinkedIn. Just look up accountant. Get them to review your resume. And don't only get one person, two people, like get multiple people to review your resume. And also tailor it to how you want it to be as well. So use, I guess you would say, kind of creativity, but also make sure people are reviewing it. And, iron sharpens iron. They'll correct where they feel like it could be better. You know what I'm saying? So resume is number one. Number two, once you get a decent resume, or whatever, number two, you have to start putting in that work, outside of classes. So my friend, before I start, I guess, putting in that work, other than classes, it was my sophomore year, and thankfully I was able to be told this at the time. But you got to start early. You got to start early because companies put out these, things. You just got to start early. I'm going to tell you why. But my friend was like, my sophomore year was like, start applying to internships. And it was my sophomore year, so luckily I was early enough, to start applying and figuring out how to get internships. So that would be the second thing you need to do. Get internships. Get experience in the field that you want to work in. First thing, get that resume right. Second thing, get experience. How to get experience? You submit your resume. You showcase your resume to different companies and different hiring managers, different recruiters, and all, in the major or throughout the field that you want to work with, you have to showcase your resume. Whether it's in a different, city that you live in, a different, state that you live in, you have to showcase your resume. And if that resume is not getting responses back, then that's when you need to have a peer review, or that's when you need to make changes to your resume. If you see, I'm not getting no responses back, I'm not getting any responses back, that's when you need to make those changes and improve your resume. And you always have to keep changing your resume. It's all about continuously improving your resume. I met this 39-year-old. She was an engineer, but she was still, and that's something you'll learn, but she was still trying to get certifications and just trying to continue to improve her resume. So just because you get your resume one time done, even after that, you still have to continue to update it time after time. With professional development, just get those peer reviews with those people that's in your field, your friends. Just get it reviewed and continue to, on a continuously basis, you need to be improving that resume. So once you get it's shown to these campus recruiters, they'll be like, well, first, to even get to that point, you'll be maybe showing them online, but you also need to be in person. So you need to be at these career fairs, and you need to be at these company events that a specific company is having. So if you're on Handshake in a company and you like a company or interested in a company and they're holding an event, I would try to make it to that event, whether it's a baseball game, a dinner with people in the major. Try to make those events, because that's actually how I really got my first internship, as well as I've heard other people get their first job like that or internship like that as well. How I got mine was on Handshake. Well, my first internship on Handshake, someone sent me invite to a recruiter sent an invite to a baseball game for people who are majoring in accounting. So luckily I went, because that same day I really didn't want to go. I didn't feel like going, but I pushed myself to go, and I went. After that, really nothing, came out. You met the people, you met the recruiters, stuff like that. That's, other students or whatever, that's cool. But nothing really ever came of that. But it's a time. It's not gonna be overnight. It's a time thing. And then later on, I posted on LinkedIn that I'm looking for a position. That same recruiter from that company emailed me that same day and said, well, I see you looking for whatever. Now we in contact now. Now we discussing details. So we do that. I think we have I have a phone or Teams meeting with another recruiter in that company, and then that was like July, and then nothing really came of that. Then September came. It was the career fair. I went right back up to that company, desk at the career fair, or table at the career fair. Next day, they call and say, let's do an interview. I do the interview on that Monday. They say, let's do it. We want to offer you for an internship. So you really got to be at these, resume first, showcase your resume to recruiters, people. Start applying on company websites, even on Handshake, or just apply everywhere. Don't, just because you want to be with one company, you might not get that one company, but other opportunities are going to be there, and they can act as a stepping stone to get into that company. And that's another strategy that you could use to get into your dream company. Do something little first, not as big as a company, but it's still a solid company. And use that as a stepping stone to get into something better, So resume, internship, applying to internships. After that, resume, apply to internships, go to career fairs. So you really need to do the internship and career fairs simultaneously, like a simultaneous at the same time. Basically, you really need to be doing those things at the same time, because that's important. And be early too with these applying to internships, because you got to be early. Probably as soon as they post them, you really got to be on top of it, for real. So resume, internship, applying to internships, and reaching out to recruiters, networking, going to career fairs, all that stuff. You need to be at that. The last thing is the interview. And it's really, I would say, a skill. And once you get to college, interviewing can become a skill. It's not like your McDonald's interview, or it could be kind of, but sometimes it kind of can be a skill at some points, depending on who you interviewing with. Some interviews are surface level, and then some can be a little bit more in depth. But the number one question, like always, is gonna be, tell me about yourself. Just be ready for that question, at least, if you gonna interview. And this is the third part. Interviews, practice interviews. I watched YouTube to basically get better at that. And I actually had to sit down and write stuff, like write it, what I was gonna say, and things like that. And now I don't even practice, before interviews, because I already know what I'm gonna say. I already practice it, and I've seen my peers practice, what they're gonna say, and write it down on a notebook paper. The common questions to be prepared for in interviews. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on the internet. Just the common questions to be prepared for. Just write down what you're gonna say for those questions, and just practice. And you're gonna go through interviews, and you're gonna mess up, And the thing is that I've experienced people give up after one try, and actually, my friend, she, been applying to jobs and stuff like that, and she be really upset when she doesn't get it, right? But the thing is, you're not gonna get most of them. So you have to keep going. You have to keep applying. You have to keep practicing in these interviews, because you're gonna mess up in these interviews or whatever, but you have to keep applying. So I did one internship, then I did another internship. So I got 2 internships, right? So now I have the experience. So nobody can say, oh, you don't have any experience, because I got the experience. And I don't have, the leadership in an organization. I was in an organization, but I wasn't like a president of an organization. So you don't have to be a president, or I don't even know, whatever it is. I was in an organization, like a little volunteer organization. but I wasn't the president, or I wasn't, one of the high people that be in the organization. So, because I was putting more effort into internships than I was organizations at school. So, first thing, resume. Second thing, internships and applying and getting your name out there. The more they see you, the better. Get on LinkedIn, message recruiters, connect with recruiters. It's very, very, I don't want to say easy, but it's gonna be a process. It's not overnight, and sometimes you're gonna feel like giving up. Sometimes I would do 30 applications in one night, and maybe 4 or 5 come back. But obviously, I only had 2 internships a year, so 2 internships, I guess. But so just think about that when you applying, and it's gonna get annoying. It's gonna get just gonna get annoying a lot. But you really have to just keep applying for real and keep being in contact with the recruiters or the people at the company you want to work at, or the people at the company, wherever it is. Even sending a happy holidays, because think about it, you're reminding them of who you are. You're keep being in a face. You're not. Just think about if you don't message them at all, they don't know who you are. So keep being in a face. Just message them, even if you have just basic advice questions. They gonna know who you is, and stuff like that. Just keep networking. Continue to learn about your field. Continue to be a student, because that's why we're in school, to be a student, and just continue to learn how everything in your field works. Let's see. And after that, after I got those 2 internships, I came to the fall, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do with accounting, or whether I wanted to get my master's or I didn't want to get my master's. So when I would when I went to the career fair, I had a hard time telling people what I was going to do. And that really, I would say, cost me. But I did get a phone call from one of the people that I had seen at the recent years, LinkedIn. I mean, not LinkedIn, but career fair. And I kind of just messaged them on LinkedIn or whatever, and they called that maybe that next day or something like that, to talk or whatever about full-time opportunities, and I didn't get that one. And that's why you gotta keep going, and it's okay that you didn't get that one, because I feel like the one that I came up and got is a way better probably opportunity, and a way more known company that deals with, that'll probably be more beneficial in the future. Let's see. So I just kept applying, and then I kept applying. Then once I was on Handshake, and I seen the company hiring for audit associate full time, and I sent it to one of my, I guess, connects somebody that I interned with, somebody that I interned with, and then it was like, they got denied by them. I was like, dang, because they had another internship with a big company name, and I was like, dang, they didn't get it. So I was like, well, I did the first good interview. They said, let's do another one. And then, well, they text on Handshake, right? And I was like, I applied. And then they said schedule for a phone call I did that. She said, let's move on to an interview with a manager. I did that. And then after that, I think the process was a little bit long, but I basically got the job. The job, I guess you would say, and I accepted it, I think, yesterday, and it's located in Miami, so I might have to move to Miami, and it's a different company from the ones I interned with. But I am going back to intern at one of the companies. So if I get another offer for them or from that company, the one that I interned at, I'll probably, we'll see what happens, depending on what they offer is with money and stuff like that. But I know that'll be where I live right now, and I've really been wanting to get out of Atlanta. So yeah. But anyways, remember, get that resume right. After that, you want to, get that resume right. Well, get that resume right. Get it peer reviewed and all that stuff. Then you want to, apply to internships, at, getting these people faces, go to career fairs and connect with, people who work at the company or people who are in the position that you want to be in. Like for me, example, I want to be an audit associate. So I connected with audit associates at that particular company that I want to be in, or just, I guess, any company that I want to be in. Even connect with the managing people and connect with those people, and they'll connect back and have career conversations. All you got to do is just, DM them and ask, can we have career conversations, and ask them, questions, and stuff like that. And you can really look at all this up on, Google or ChatGPT, questions to ask and all that stuff. Use our resources too, school resources, and stuff like that. After you, try to get your name out there through applying through internships, getting your face, I guess, seen and all that stuff, and going to these company events and career fairs, the next thing they gonna want to do is do an interview. So you need to be practicing interviewing, practicing and learning how to interview and all the questions and all that stuff. And you can look that up on YouTube. I guess you can look that on YouTube, how to prepare for interview questions, or how to do this, how to answer this specific question, like how to answer, tell me about yourself. You could do that. So that's the 3-step process on how to get a job out of college. And remember, you have to keep improving your resume, have to keep improving your interviewing skills. You have to keep improving your social skills on going to these career fairs and events and stuff like that. You have to keep improving everything. It's not just, okay, I got it, and then we get settled now. And even when you get an internship and do that internship, you still have to keep going. Like, it's a never-ending cycle, and you have to really put that work in. It's not, I'm telling you, it's not easy, but it is what it is. It's what's gonna separate you from the rest, and that's how you're gonna gain experience. Because they're gonna be, when it's time to get a full-time offer or apply to full-time jobs, they're gonna be looking for experience. And I just told you how to get experience. Resume, apply to internships or apprenticeships or externs or whatever they are that they do in your field. After that, you want to practice your interviews, because that's what they want to, that's what they're going to call about after the career fair. or after the the events they have. After that interview, hopefully you get a call back if you did those 3 things correctly, or not even correctly, but in a good way. If you didn't, well, now you know you need to improve. Or if you're not getting no calls back or no emails back, now you know you need to improve something. And it's most likely your resume. If you're not getting no calls back or anything like that, maybe it's your resume, or you need to be seen more often in their company. So make sure the recruiter is seeing you a lot. You know what I'm saying? Make sure they're seeing you a lot, or whatever. It's gonna take time. Nothing overnight, for real. And that's my 25-minute I guess experience on how to get a job out of college, how to get internships, how to really network, I guess, within college as well. And also talk to other students that that do that's in the same major as you, of course. Hopefully you're doing that if you're not already doing that. Hopefully you're doing that and asking them questions, because they might know something that you don't know. They might know something that you don't know, as well as you probably can answer some of their questions as well. So y'all can be helpful to each other. So you really gonna have to gain experience to get a job out of college. You gain that through, apprenticeships and internships and just stuff like that. Now, I know in some fields where it's a little bit harder, but when it's supply and demand, sometimes demand is lower in some, fields, such as maybe social work, I guess. Maybe that field, maybe I guess tech, because I've been hearing about that a little bit. That the demand has been lower, but the supply has been a lot higher. So I've been seeing that a lot on TikTok, where people can't get jobs. So if you in a field where demand is lower, it might be harder to get a job. But if you major in something that's needed in this world, to be a lot easier to get a job with doing those things that I said or went over. It'll be a lot easier because you already have the experience, and it just shows for itself. The work you put in just show for itself, for sure. So I'm gonna just say this one more time. You have to gain experience if you want a job out of college. You have to gain experience, as well as the demand have to be there. How do you gain experience? You have to get a resume. You have to get your resume. Go to events, company events that you want to work with, or whatever. I'm gonna keep reiterating. Go to company events and apply to internships. You gotta keep applying as well. After that, practice your interviews, because that's what they're gonna want to do next. If it don't works, improve and repeat. Improve and repeat. Keep doing it over and over, and one day you will get one. And this is coming from someone that has 2 internships, and I was able to. I'm gonna go back to one of the companies in January to do another internship, and then I just accepted an offer at a job, at a company in Miami. So I'm just telling you how I did it. If you're struggling, I told you how to do it. So no excuses, and let's just get to it.